It's Eric at Tri-State Public Safety. Thank you for stopping by our channel. And we're going to look at the new GPL Light Bar today from Feniex Industries. So this is a quick little teaser, but let's go in a little bit closer and see some of the changes and improvements up close that Feniex has done to this light bar. All right, so we're in a little closer here, and one of the first things you'll notice is the top is different. So the top is not black, and it's also not plastic. This is a metal top, so the bar is going to have a lot more durability. It's going to be a lot more rugged, a lot more rigid. So that's a piece of metal that's kind of powder coated or painted, I'm not sure which. There's also a lot fewer screws that actually hold down the top as well. As you can see that there's only 8 running across the top there, and this is kind of like a gray, sort of like a medium gray look to it. Another improvement that they did was in the corners of each of the 4 corners have a little metal kind of like a half U shape, I guess you would say, or kind of a U shape. And you'll see it there. It's held down with 3 screws, and basically what that is doing is, it's reinforcing the corner. Some folks were having an issue with the corners cracking, I guess, whether it be the dome or the bottom of the base. And then also what that's going to do is also, relative to the gasket, it's going to keep that gasket seated. There were a lot of issues where the gasket was actually coming up in those in the corners. So it's kind of a twofold deal. It's going to add some rigidity to those corners, and then also keep that gasket in place. So if you haven't noticed, also the feet are a little bit different than before, and we'll when we flip the bar over, we'll show you a little bit more in detail. But we also noticed that the lenses appear to be different. A much better quality material. They feel a little bit thicker, and I don't know, just different overall than the previous bar. So you can tell they definitely put some thought into this, and from our understanding, a boatload of testing. Okay, so a few specs on the bar. If you're not familiar, you can order this bar in single or dual color. Dual color, that's where you'll have the opportunity to get the flood mode. That's ever so important. Everybody wants the flood mode. But you need to have dual color to be able to do that. There's 3 different programmable modes that are available in the bar. 16 flash patterns for single color, 48 for dual color. Of course, what comes standard is your rear directional, your rear arrow deal. That'll be standard in it. Front and rear cutoff is standard. Takedowns and alleys are standard if you want them. You can choose to add those. And of course, you can always go to feniex.com or go to our website, and you can build your bar and spec it out. You can see all the options there and just basically build it however you want. I believe there's 3 or 4 different mounting options. The feet, how you see here with a strap kit. There's a permanent mount bracket set. There's headache rack mounts if you're going to mount this on a headache rack, and I think there's a 4th one as well. Another option for the bar is stop-turn tail lights. So if you guys are needing this bar for maybe a wrecker or some sort of utility truck, and you want stop-turn tails in the rear, you can add those. If you want work lights in the rear, you can add those. If you want takedowns in the front with alleys on the sides and work lights in the rear and stop-turn tails in the rear, you can do that. So there's a bunch of different options here. And one of the other big options is obviously the optics. So this bar, the way that you're viewing it right now, has 180-degree optics. So all the optics that you're seeing right there are all 180 degrees, and that's just going to give you a wider spread of light. It's going to fill up a bigger area. The other option is 40-degree optics, and so you get to choose between the two. 40 degrees is going to keep the light more condensed, keep it more of a narrow pattern, but allow it to reach out to a farther distance. You can go with a mixture of 40 and 180 optics at any placement on the bar. No extra charge. Some folks like to have 180s on the front and sides, and then 40s just in the rear. But it's totally up to you. You get to set it up however you want. Again, no extra charge for that. You will have 15 feet of cable. So 15 feet of cable that are available. Basically 3 different wires will exit the bottom of the bar. You'll have one that will hook up directly to a 4200 DL controller, which makes installation pretty simple, because the controller then will communicate with the bar directly, and installation is very simple. You're really not going to have to mess with all the color-coded wires, because the Cat 5 cable is going to plug directly into the 4200 DL. And then the other cable is power and ground. If you're not going to use a 4200 DL controller, by the way, there's no controller that's included with this bar, so you will need something, but you don't have to use a 4200 DL. You can just use a 4200 Mini. You can use an old school OG, rocker switch box thingy, whatever you want to use. It doesn't take anything in particular. These LED bars that are all low current bars, they don't require anything crazy, so you can use whatever you want. If you wanted to keep things real simple, put a $5 toggle switch on your dash and be done with it. You could do that if you want. So you don't have to buy a 4200 DL. We would encourage you to, but you don't have to. But they do have that third cable, which is that 4200. The Cat 5 cable that comes down from the bottom of the bar. So Cat 5 cable, power and ground, and then the other one is your multi-color-coded little wire deals, where each color-coded wire performs that own function, that separate function. So anyway, a bunch of different options with the bar. If you did get this bar in dual color, which this one is, and you had your flood mode to the front, you can still do your arrow to the rear. So, and this one is set up that way. This one is red, blue, white with red, blue, amber to the rear. But if you just want the bar all in amber white, you can certainly do that. When you hit the flood mode, the entire bar is going to go to flood mode, unless you power up your rear cutoff, in which case then it would just be front and sides, kind of a deal. So anyway, let me go ahead and turn it on. We'll walk through some of the options, and we'll go from there. All right, so here we are in one of the 3 modes. Again, you can set these up however you want. One of the 3 modes here, flashing in dual color. Obviously, the bar is very, very intense. These are all 4-watt LEDs, just crazy, crazy bright. And we're a good 35 plus feet away, I would say, from the bar with our camera. So this is the front of the bar. I don't know if you can see from how bright it is, but the amber is firing away in the rear. I'm going to go to a different mode here and just give you a look at a different mode. So this is another mode, and basically this is no white. So no white to the front or sides, and no amber to the rear. Here's your flood mode. Obviously very intense. In the flood mode, the way we set this up is it wraps around, includes your front corners, your actual alley lights, and then your rear corner modules as well. This worked out pretty well. So that is an option for you. Also wanted to show you this. If you have the bar on, this bar does also have a dim mode, and the dim mode brings the brightness down considerably. Hopefully the camera will catch it. And it looks like this. So this is dim, and this is back to full brightness right now. And here's dim. So that's a pretty drastic dim mode. So just trying to run through not all the options here, but just a few, just to kind of give you an idea. Here's a front cutoff wire, so just in case you just needed rear only. Maybe guys that are running position 1 on their slide switch just need rear only, you know, something like that. Or you just need a button set up for your front cutoff. That'll kill your front and sides. And of course, they also have a rear cutoff, and that one is this one here. Oops. There we go. And then, of course, we also have your arrow functions. Let me turn the bar off here so I can show you the arrow functions. Kind of see them hanging out in the background there. There we go. A little bit easier to see that way. So there's an arrow function for you. Obviously, we're going from left to right here, right arrow. And the amber's a real deep, rich amber color. These are the 40-degree optics. So let me turn the bar off here real quick and we'll show you, kind of zoom in. Take a look. So the entire rear of the bar has 40-degree optics, and again, you can choose your combination of optics however you want, no extra charge. But a lot of folks tend to go with 40s in the rear, especially, just because it's going to give you that, you know, more condensed light for a longer reach. Give you a shot of the end cap since we didn't really get that earlier. So a bunch of different options with this new GPL bar, and at a pretty competitive price point as well. Feniex has done a lot of testing, and they've certainly put a lot of money into redesigning, I guess you would say, and improvements, just overall improvements to the bar to address some of the issues that, quite honestly, we've all faced over the last few years. So I believe they've done their due diligence. Time will tell, of course, but it looks like all the necessary improvements that needed to be made have been made, and a few others as well. So we noticed a few different flash patterns that weren't available are now available, and so that was pretty cool. But anyway, so this is the new GPL Light Bar. Obviously very bright, tons of options, and seems like they've done what they needed to do to fix some of the issues. So if you guys need one, definitely give us a call, 513-422-5775. And thanks for stopping by our channel today at Tri-State Public Safety.